Hello everyone, welcome to Fast Track on Herald Global. I am Saimik Sen. Joining us today, Mr. Adrian D'souza. He is an Indian hockey goalkeeper known for his innovative rushing technique and impressive career spanning over 165 international caps, including representing India in 2006 Hockey World Cup. Thank you so much, Mr. D'souza, for taking out this time for us. Welcome to Herald Global.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, so let me begin by asking you, what inspired you to pursue a career in hockey?
Well, as a child, when I just began hockey, it was never in my mind that I want to take it up professionally because I just love playing sports. And it was always football, hockey, indoor sports, building sports, or what we call that sports or fun games, I guess. But it was all about sports, always being active on the ground.
Sure.
And hockey happened coincidentally in school. And once everything took place, slowly you get into an age where you decide you can get it professionally and you join academies. And that's when, at the age in my mid-teens, I kind of figured it out that I can become, or I want to become, a national hockey goalkeeper.
Oh, okay. So please tell us about your debut international match at Sultan Azlan Shah Hockey Tournament in 2004.
Oh yeah, that was basically a time when you're surrounded by legendary hockey players, and you're just
Of course.
in your phase of just phasing out of a teenage, probably when you're 19, 20, and I got my first call for the Azlan Shah in Malaysia, and I was not the starting goalkeeper, but the first time I made my debut was against Australia, and our team was down 5 goals to 2. And that's when I was just around for the last 20, 25 minutes. And gracefully, my first match itself, I kept a clean sheet, even though it was a span of 20 minutes. I would always think about it. I think Australia was done scoring at that time. But Australia being Australia, they never grew up. So my first debut match was against Australia while we were down in a big margin. And playing alongside legends like Dhanraj Pillai, Lena Yappa, Arjun Alappa, Deepak Thakur, Viren Raskina, Dilip Sethi, all these players were there already. And I was just a new kid on the block.
So how was the experience like playing with such legends?
The experience overall, for me, it was all about wearing the India color at that point in time.
Sure.
That's my first Indian jersey, and falling back home with the time difference that we had in Malaysia. But the fun part was I never felt left out, thanks to the senior guys and the coaches. They never made me feel that I need to be under any pressure. And if you look at it, when you're put on the ground when the score is already 5-1, 5-2, there are not many expectations from the Indian squad to come back against Australia.
Yeah.
So I went into the ground knowing the fact that to win, the chances would be slim. But for me to perform, the chances would be high because by that time, Australia was already on 4th gear. And once the tournament got over, and once you've done shopping with all your shoes and your caps, the only feeling I could think of was like, I need to play the Olympics, and playing the Olympics and probably winning as many matches as I can actually reach the end here.
Okay. So please tell us, how did you develop that rushing technique, which you're known for?
The rushing technique just came by coincidence. Like, again, I would not elaborate much on why did I do it, but it all happened because of our fitness test. I was one of the top 3 sprinters in the national team, with alongside Dhanraj Pillai, Viren Raskina, Ignesh Tilke, Prabjot Singh, Adam Sigler. These were the fastest in the team. But for a goalkeeper to be in the top 3 charts was something unique. And we had a foreign coach who came in from Germany.
Okay.
And Mr. Oliver Putz. The moment Oliver seen the test results of the fitness test, they gave it a try for me to wear my gear and give it a 30-meter sprint. So in that, I wouldn't say I was in the top 3, but I was pretty much there in the top 10, top 15. that's the time when they took a call that why not we give Adrian first Russia option. No one was doing that, and for me that was there
Amazing.
was no video to watch. It was nothing to analyze because no one has done it so frequently. Just before the Olympics in Germany, while we had a Olympic camp after USA, we had a tri nation against
Okay.
Germany and France. That's the first time I tried it, and it was a success. I just didn't know what to do. All I had been told is you have to run straight, aim for the ball, and aim for the Russian. That's it. The initial state was so raw that nobody even knew if it would work because no one has seen a goalkeeper run. So I myself was not very confident at the start, but as the tournament progressed and we succeeded, the prize series went draw with Germany. That's one of my unique techniques which actually helped me to get the team.
So first time where you yourself were surprised with the result?
Definitely, because you're facing the world's best drag flickers. You had Soil Abbas one side in the Olympics, then you had Kunz from Germany, then you had like every name, Jorge Lombe from Argentina. All these names were like they would score out of three, they would at least score two or one. And to deny them to score even one, that's few matches was that was progress. But in the start, I myself wasn't sure because we never practiced it.
Of course.
It's hard to practice it because when you practice, there are chances of you getting injured.
Okay. So how was the experience of representing India in the Hockey World Cup in 2006?
In Mönchengladbach in Germany, apart from the results that we wanted to achieve and we didn't achieve, for us, the way the entire, for me, that it was my first World Cup, Senior World Cup. And having played in Germany for quite a while then, because most of our tournaments would take place, the entire experience of Mönchengladbach was different because uh, it was happening at the same time when the Bundesliga happens. So, as a visitor, you'll see so much of sports activities in a country, in a small town, where when you go downtown, you just see everyone celebrating sporting activities. But for me, as an individual, as a team player, it wasn't the best World Cup that I wanted to achieve, the results, but it was a great learning experience. It
Sure.
made me realize more about how we can win as a team, how we can lose as a team, and certain situations where in that World Cup, Sandeep Singh had been shot by mistake, obviously, while he was
Yeah.
coming for the score. And that was a setback for us, which we had to take with us to the Shandamba World Cup. So a mixed emotion, but a great learning experience.
Okay. So you have won the Shiv Chhatrapati Award from the government of Maharashtra. My question to you, what kind of role these awards play in a sportsman's career?
In a sporting world, what it does is it enhances you personally. Obviously, it motivates you to keep achieving because not every Maharashtrian or not everyone who resides from Maharashtra, gets the honor to get these awards. And secondly, at your workplace, at places where you're probably working, you have a higher chance of getting a promotion because that adds value to your success. And when you have all these awards by your side, you always want to get more, right? That's the sporting life we always achieve. That it's not that you want to reach something, you just want to do well and get the best out.
Okay, hockey is the national game of India. So do you think it is getting its due exposure in India, especially when a
Well,
game of cricket exists?
well, again, if we get back to the national sport, it was always a national sport back then because then hockey would just keep winning gold medals. That's one of the biggest reasons why uh, the government then decided to keep it the national sport. Post the 80s, we've seen the transition both in cricket and hockey. It's we've done, for me as an athlete, we don't like to compare sports. Neither do we want someone to compare sports. But as a human being, as an individual, as an Indian, we always do that. And the transition that took place in hockey from top level to down since the 80s, and cricket was the reverse order. After winning the World Cup with the Kapil Dev squad, everything changed when television came in
Yes.
and changed the entire revolution of how we connect with sports. Because anyone from the old generation you meet, they will know the names, all the hockey players, because the games will come on the radio, you know.
True.
Whereas cricket, it's all about the face. And the way I look at it, it is because cricket is such a big sport, it actually helps other sports to grow as well. Because
Sure.
uh, India has to be a sporting nation. If we have 1.2, 1.3 billion of population, and if we can't achieve much medals, it's that story, right?
True.
Because there are countries with probably a size of our state, which end up with more medals and higher rank than us in Olympics. So in a sporting way, it's nice to see that all the other sports are getting their, I would say, getting some recognition. But again, let's not compare it. Cricket is another level, and we have to respect that because it brings us joy, and so does
Sure.
hockey.
Definitely.
Hockey is always been an emotional sport. Even though someone cannot understand the rules because it's so complicated time to time, but still they will be like, yeah, हारना नहीं है. And if it's definitely Pakistan, तो हार ही नहीं सकते.
Okay, so since you have spent so much of time in this sport itself, can you please tell us, like, how hockey has evolved in India? We are talking about, the team that exists today.
Yeah. Well, for the last 10 years, in fact, for the last 12 to 14 years, the transition of having making changes, especially in giving more exposure to the players and having coaches come in who have actually educated many key players of the top level, including me, the basics. Because the basics has always been one of our issues with fitness.
Sure.
And when you combine both together and when you work on that, today India has gone to top 4, top 5, the world, having won the bronze medal in the Tokyo Olympics. That actually goes to show that they did not do well in the last 4 years to achieve that. They did well in the last 10 years, the last 12 years to reach that goal because it's a work in progress.
Sure.
And we have worked a lot in fitness. Today, the Indian players can match. Yes, there's an advantage of the new rule, the 15-minute rule. So it gives you a breather for 2 minutes. So an
Sure.
average player can probably be on the field for 5 minutes. And that we have that advantage. As Indians, we are known as a skillful team, but we have the advantage of turning quickly, putting the attacker on their knees, especially tall defenders. But if you work on fitness and with the right mindset, अभी इतना गलतियां नहीं करते हैं जितना पहले करते हैं. So that is one big improvement. And what can get us success in this coming Olympics is definitely consistency. Consistency would always be a big issue with us. We would end up losing to Canada and then going out of the World Cup Olympics because we lost to Canada. Whereas with the other teams, we would give them a good fight, either win or draw.
Okay. So let's talk about some challenges of the sport. I mean, there are certain generic challenges in terms of the infrastructure, in terms of the process, and there are some individual challenges of the player. So from the India perspective, what are the challenges that a player has to face?
When you talk about as an individual, me or just as a group?
Everything, like, I meant, like, some generic challenges. Okay, general challenges, like for the infrastructure of our country, the process that is laid down for new players to come in. At the same time, once the player is selected, the kind of challenges that he has to face from there onwards. So
Got it.
if you can just shed some light on that.
Well, for a challenge, the general challenge or generic challenge would definitely obviously mean that, India being such a, we have cultures which are very different in every state, and for players, especially who come from down south, or even for me, when you just start making your career and you go to a camping hostel, which is up north,
Sure.
the temperature won't be on your side. The food style won't be on your side. There are challenges that the environment won't be the way you want it to be. People might not speak the language the way you want them to speak. So you
Sure.
have to learn to adapt in such a quick time because in the end, hockey is a team game, and if I cannot communicate with my other teammate, then we just going to be dumb and deaf all the way, and it's not going to help. So in a team sport, it's so important that you just socialize and you get to know each other, and that's not easy. It's not easy. Like I've seen Srijesh, who's the present Indian goalkeeper. I've seen his transition from, coming from Kerala, not knowing how to speak a language, only Malayalam, and today he's so smooth with his vocals that goes to show that you have to learn to adapt. Now, for an individual, especially if you're a goalkeeper, the biggest challenge is that there's only one player who plays. So your
Yes.
competition level, your stakes are so high that you always end up with injuries, because we are the ones who are just standing out there and saying, "Maar do abhi bhai, log save karenge," but aapko. So the challenges of recovering from your injury is the hardest part. And players, especially, they would rather get a hamstring pull, a back injury, but for goalkeepers, it's directly a fracture. So there's no muscle pull. It's a direct bone break. So to come back from those injuries is one of the hardest part, because once you lose your spot, it's not easy to get it back.
Okay. So can you suggest some steps for the betterment of the sport?
Oh, one of the best steps was which Hockey India League had started. When the leagues had begun, that gave all the Indian players so much exposure. Even if you look at the history of IPL, the history of any league which you have foreign players involved, ISL, where you have a combination of the best in the world, including our players, playing along, not playing against, playing along with these guys. Because what happens is it builds up your confidence when you actually play for the Indian team. Because then I will know if you are from Germany, but we play at the same club. When you will play for Germany, I will know, deeper insights about it. I will know exactly how you run, how you move, and that helps an individual grow, a team grow. So the moment HL happened, if you look at the results that India started proving in after that, it is one of the biggest advantages. And I think 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, Hockey India just announced the Hockey India League, which is going to re-happen. It's going to take place again next year. That again is a very good choice. And now this time there are girls team involved as well.
Okay.
So it's a typical Chak De India scene.
Oh, wow. Okay. So my last question to you. Lastly, what would be your word of advice to the people who wants to pursue their career in hockey in India?
Well, my personal advice to every kid or every teenager has always been, keep doing what you love, number one. But when you're doing that, you learn so many other things. Uh, Knowledge for me is power. You know, I am today in aviation as well, but even though it was a sports oriented quota job, but then I learned you have to learn your job. So education, most important for every teenager, every kid out there. If you are educated, if you are good enough, hockey is not an easy sport. It might just look like बंदा भाग रहा है आगे पीछे झुक के, but there's a lot of technical abilities that you need, because when your body is tired, your mind will just shut down. So for every player out there, you have to educate yourself not only in the sport but in life as well, and keep working hard, because you might achieve success today, and your brother or your sister or your friend might achieve success 10 years later. So success won't actually knock on your door and wait for you. You have to achieve it, and to achieve it, you have to take the right steps. You have to train. Without training, I've seen so many athletes and so many players that after one season, they'll be like, अभी ठीक है यार, अभी एक सीजन हो गया है, एक जर्सी मिल गया, एक सेट का, एक ओलंपिक हो गया, एक वर्ल्ड कप. You don't want to go ahead because your motivation levels are there. So your motivation level should always be with the sport, even though your end goal should be wearing the India jersey. But the love for the sport is so important that you have to be passionate about it.
Okay. I would like to extend my last question by
Please.
asking you, do you think a plan B also should be there when it comes to those students who wants to they love hockey, they want to be a part of hockey, but in terms of how difficult it has become with the kind of competition that you just mentioned. So a plan B, do you suggest there should be a plan B, or you should be completely focused with plan A only?
Like let's be honest. Today's generation has plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, maybe
True.
plan E. I've seen that at work. I've seen that at sports. Thanks to the entire technology, there are certain things you don't even have to, if you just tell one kid that ये ऐसे हाँ सर मुझे पता है कहाँ देखा है YouTube पे देखा है gaining knowledge, the way you gain knowledge, and what you actually do to learn is so important that you need to have plan A, plan B, plan C. Plan A will always be your just like a horse, just aiming towards your goal in the sport that you're playing, especially with hockey, and knowing that a sporting career is a short span. You cannot play hockey till the age of 58. You cannot play hockey till a certain age, and now with the amount of competitiveness, the speed of the game, your career is much shortened in hockey. So you have to understand that after that, you are not going to be able to play. I've been on that shoe of one side on the turf and one side at work. So while you're doing that, you have to keep growing. Whether you're working somewhere or you're studying, you cannot give that up. And that will help you grow because there will be a time where you can probably use your sporting tag and your sporting experience because sports teaches you a lot. It teaches you how to be good as a team, keep everybody together, self-discipline at times. Most importantly, it gives you confidence. If you walk around with confidence, life is much easier because you learn in sports, you learn how to deal with defeats. I've seen many people at work, thoda bahut idhar udhar ho jata hai. The way their entire body changes, takes shape is like it's a complete negative aura. And it's not negative, it's fear. So you have to have plan B and plan C. For that, you have to keep working and studying and whatever you're doing towards your other goals. But there is an age for every athlete, somewhere between 17 and 18 till 23, 24, where you have to take a call. You have to make a choice because that is your prime age. And every person out there who ever wants to achieve greatness in sports, just remember you got to keep dreaming every night. You have to dream of those medals. You have to dream of the jersey. Without dreams, there's no success.
Very true. So thank you so much, Mr. D'Souza. It was an absolute honor to have you with us today. It was very insightful and lovely talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.